I'm Kat Popras, and this is News Recap. No fluff, straight to the point. Hamas agreed to release all Israeli hostages, living and dead, and said it was ready to begin negotiations for a peace deal. Texas Megachurch founder has pleaded guilty to sexually abusing a child. Diddy Combs faces court verdict today. 60,000 TSA officers and more than 13,000 air traffic controllers are working without pay. Israeli forces intercepted the last boat from an international flotilla on Friday. They began intercepting flotilla boats on Wednesday night, detaining roughly 450 activists, including Greta Thunberg, Nelson Mandela's grandson, Mandela Mandela, and several European lawmakers. Protesters in Israel tried to block troops, demanding the government allow the flotilla to reach Gaza. Soldiers and police pushed them aside, clearing the way for military vehicles to pass.
This is a government that has been systematically trying to eradicate, starve, and dilute the Palestinian population. And the international countries are standing by, saying how sorry they are, but not doing enough. And the flotilla gave us hope that there is action.
The interception sparked protests worldwide, from Latin America to Asia. President Trump set a Sunday evening deadline for Hamas to accept a U.S.-backed peace plan. He also warned that if the deal is unreached, all hell will break out against Hamas, but promised that the violence and bloodshed will stop. And just a few hours ago, Hamas said that it's agreed to release all Israeli hostages, living and dead, and said it was ready to begin negotiations for a peace deal. Firefighters have gained control of a massive blaze at Chevron's El Segundo Refinery, which erupted on Thursday night and sent flames visible for miles across South Bay. Residents reported feeling a powerful blast around 9:30 p.m. with smoke and orange flames filling the sky. Firefighters from El Segundo and LA County rushed to the scene. Officials confirmed there were no injuries and no evacuations orders. By Friday morning, the fire was mostly contained, though crews remained on site to fully extinguish flames that started at a process unit in the southeast corner of the refinery. A Chevron spokesperson said the fire was limited to that area. LA County Supervisor Holly Mitchell advised residents to stay indoors and visitors to avoid the area. Air quality officials reported no elevated toxins so far, but people should close doors and windows if smoke is visible. The founder of a Texas megachurch, who resigned last year after a woman accused him of sexually abusing her in the 80s, pleaded guilty on Thursday. 64-year-old Morris admitted to 5 felony counts of lewd or indecent acts with a child. Under a plea deal, he will serve first 6 months of his 10-year suspended sentence in county jail, register as a sex offender, and pay $250,000 in restitution. The victim, Cindy Clemishire, was 12 when Morris, then a traveling evangelist, began abusing her in 1982. She sat in court on Thursday as Morris accepted responsibility, a moment she had waited for decades. Gateway Church, founded by Morris in 2000 in Southlake, Texas, grew to tens of thousands of weekly attendees and drew national attention. Morris, who served as a faith advisor to President Donald Trump, resigned in June 2024 after Clemishire went public. Clemishire told the court the abuse rippled into every part of her life. Her father and sister also spoke, describing the long-lasting impact. Diddy Combs is in court today for his sentencing hearing after being convicted in July on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The judge has said he sees no reason to deviate from sentencing guidelines, which call for a sentence between just under 6 years to just over 7 years. Prosecutors are seeking more than 11 years, while the defense argues for no more than 14 months. Combs' legal team is presenting a last-minute video highlighting his charity work, family life, and contributions to Black culture. The rapper became emotional as the clip played, showing him working with youth programs and caring for his children after the death of his partner, Kim Porter. Several of Combs' children spoke in court, describing him as transformed and asking the judge for a second chance. The defense also highlighted his jail classes for fellow inmates and decades of mentorship. Prosecutors countered, emphasizing the severity of Combs' crimes and the long-lasting trauma inflicted on his victims. The court reviewed these statements and announced the verdict: 4 years and 2 months. For the first time in nearly 7 years, the U.S. federal government had shut down, raising concerns about air travel. So far, flights are running on schedule and airline staff are not affected, but thousands of essential workers all around the country, including nearly 60,000 TSA officers and more than 13,000 air traffic controllers, are working without pay. During the 2018-2019 shutdown, some TSA checkpoints closed as officers struggled financially, causing long lines and delays. Officials warned the situation could worsen if the shutdown continues for days or weeks. The U.S. Travel Association says the shutdown could cost the economy up to $1 billion per week. Essential aviation workers will receive back pay once Congress funds the government, but until then, the system depends on people working without knowing when they will be paid. The impact on travelers and airports will depend on how long the shutdown lasts. President Donald Trump has declared the United States is in an armed conflict with drug cartels his administration has labeled as terrorist groups. A new Pentagon notice to Congress calls cartel smugglers unlawful combatants, meaning the military can target them directly. One strike took place on September 15th in the Caribbean when U.S. forces hit a boat believed to be carrying cartel members. There are reports that there have been at least 3 strikes in the last month, killing 17 people in total, but the Pentagon informed Congress about only one of them, leaving the others unmentioned.
We know about the U.S. military deployment in the Caribbean, but to dare to approach Venezuelan territory, we are watching you. I want you to know. I want you to know that this does not intimidate us. It does not intimidate the people of Venezuela. So the presence of these aircraft flying in the vicinity of our area of influence, in our Caribbean Sea, near our Venezuelan coast is rude. It is a provocation. It is a threat to the security of the nation.
The Pentagon describes these cartels as armed, organized, and acting like military groups across the region. But critics argue the president is now waging secret wars without Congress signing off. In the meantime, Apple has removed an app that tracked ICE agents from its App Store. The developer said the app, called IceBlock, was pulled for objectionable content. IceBlock let users report sightings of ICE agents nearby. The app had been downloaded over 1 million times. The developer claimed the Trump administration pressured Apple to remove it. Apple said it acted after law enforcement raised safety concerns. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the Department of Justice requested the removal, saying the app put ICE agents at risk. DHS officials also warned that apps like IceBlock could endanger officers who track criminal and terrorists. ICE Deputy Director Madison Sheehan stated such apps could even be used to ambush agents. Authorities noted a gunman who attacked a Dallas ICE facility last month had looked for similar tracking apps. Some ICE tracking apps, however, remain available on the App Store. The Supreme Court will decide if Hawaii can stop people with concealed carry permits from bringing guns onto private property open to the public unless the owner says it's allowed. Hawaii's 2023 law restricts guns on beaches, playgrounds, bars, restaurants, and other sensitive places. Private property owners must give permission if the land is open to the public. 4 other states have similar rules. Gun owners say the law makes the Second Amendment right to carry almost meaningless. The Trump administration backed the challenge, calling it a near-complete ban because few property owners post signs allowing guns. Hawaii officials argue the law protects residents and that owners can give permission if they want. Supporters say it balances gun rights with property rights. Arguments are expected early next year. A Supreme Court decision could come by June or July. This is the first case since 2022 to focus on where guns can be carried. The FDA has approved a new generic version of the abortion pill mifepristone. The low-cost pill made by Avitis Solutions can be used to end pregnancies up to 10 weeks. The decision drew criticism from anti-abortion groups and Republican leaders. Students for Life Action called it a stain on the Trump presidency, and Senator Josh Hawley blasted the FDA, saying he had lost confidence in the agency. The agency explained it has little choice in approving generic drugs and does not endorse any product. Approving generics is usually a routine step once the original drug's patent expires. Mifepristone accounts for about 2/3 of U.S. abortions. Avitis Solutions plans to launch its version in January. Access still varies across states because of abortion restrictions, though major medical group support is safe to use. Conservative journalist Nick Sorter was arrested on Thursday night in Portland during chaotic protest outside a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility. He faces disorderly conduct charges. Sorter told Fox News he was surprised by the arrest. He claimed protesters attacked him, broke his camera, and he swung back before moving toward police expecting safety. Officers didn't immediately tell him he was under arrest or the charges. Videos show fights outside the ICE building with federal officers detaining individuals. Portland police reported they arrested 3 people that night. ICE officials noted that nightly protests have escalated over 100 nights with rocks, lasers, and barricades. Sorter described filming protesters being maced before the confrontation, which he called embarrassing for them. A federal court has allowed about 45,000 gallons of radioactive water from the closed Indian Point nuclear plant to be released into the Hudson River. Judge Kenneth Karras struck down New York's 2023 Save the Hudson law, siding with Haltech International, which argued only the federal government can regulate nuclear waste. Haltech says the release will follow federal safety rules. Indian Point, north of Manhattan, shut down in 2021, and Governor Kathy Hochul had supported the state law but said closing the plant increased fossil fuel use. Haltech has hinted at possible federal interest in reopening the plant, though New York plans to fully decommission it. The water contains small amounts of tritium, a low-risk radioactive substance. For the first time in more than 1,400 years, a woman will lead the Church of England. Sarah Mullally, a former nurse and the Bishop of London, has been named the 106th Archbishop of Canterbury. She will succeed Justin Welby, who resigned last November after criticism over his handling of past abuse cases. Mullally praised the women who came before her and promised to support all members of the church. She condemned racism and violence and vowed to address the harm caused by abuse scandals. Her appointment makes history for the Anglican Communion, though it could create tension with more conservative bishops overseas. Experts say she is a safe but historic choice, tasked with repairing the church's reputation and navigating divisions on issues like same-sex marriage. Mullally will be formally installed next year and will also hold a seat in Britain's House of Lords, continuing her influence on social and political matters. And that is all for now. The top stories of the day, no fluff and straight to the point. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. I'm Kat Pokras, and I'll see you next time.